Man, that is so good.
So in a previous video, I showed you the difference between a pontoon and a tri-toon. Obviously, it just has an extra pontoon in the middle. Then I showed you the tri-toon that has lifting strakes on it. And the lifting strakes, those rails underneath there that are welded on, help the boat plane out more like a planing hole. My boat runs really good, but it just, when it gets loaded down really heavy, and you're trying to run part throttle and just cruise along on the lake, it kind of digs into the water, slows down. Basically have to give it more throttle to get up on top of the water, and you're running full speed again before you know it. My boat did not come with lifting strakes though, so what am I gonna do about that? If you subscribe to this channel, you probably already know that my motor is off my boat to test on my brother's boat. So it's a perfect opportunity to weld on some lifting strakes. So how do we get to this pontoon? How do we get up under there and weld these things on there? What I needed to do is just lift the thing up in the air, drill all the rivets on that skin underneath there, and then I'm able to access the pontoon bolt. So I just take out all those bolts, then set the boat down on the trailer and let the pontoon down. So I went over to my friends over there, Dollar Sheet Metal. Thanks guys so much for bending these strakes for me. So basically I just took some old aluminum we had lying around that I took off the bottom of a boat. They cleaned it up for me a little bit, cut the edges, sheared it a little bit, and bent the angle and the size I wanted. And now I've got the pontoon flipped over and the lifting strake strapped on there. I cut the ends at an angle so that if you're ever driving down the lake and you hit a log or something, it'll skip right off of those lifting strakes. Now, this is what I called CAD design, cardboard assisted design. I just cut these out, shaped the piece of cardboard until the pieces fit perfectly. Now, after those are aligned just how I wanted them, I went through and just measured every 16 inches, marked the lifting strakes, and then went through and tacked where those marks are. About 1.5 inches at each mark. That's plenty to hold on a lifting strake. And then I went through and just welded caps on the front, solid, so that if they ever had a log strike or anything like that, it'll skip right off, it won't hurt anything. Now it's a whole bunch of work, but I like how this turned out. It looks so cool under there. I mean, just look at these bad boys. I got it lifted back up. Now I just need to go through and bolt the pontoon back on, rivet the skin back up where it belongs, and then we can start mounting the motor.
So I'm so psyched about these lifting strakes. I just had to come out right after work. I want to see what it does. And I don't have my pilot today, so I will be driving. So bear with me. Well, that was a little bit, it was good. I love how the thing drove. I think we actually have more speed here. I think I'm actually overpropping and my motor's actually running a little high out of the water. So anyway, we're gonna drop the motor down, come back up here with some more props, and we'll see what happens. So it is before work now. I think setting it up one hole and going down in pitch was the key. Let's see what this thing does. Holy crap. Man, that is so good. Solid 44 miles an hour, like just cruising. Man, it's biting into the water better. I don't even know what to say right now. Oh, good job, motor. I love you. It just runs so good. It is perfectly set now. I don't know if it can get any better than that. Like maybe if I add some outside lifting strakes, there'll be some better performance, especially loaded. But man, I am so excited about how good this thing runs. Like I have not had a pontoon boat run like this before. I mean, like a solid, smooth 44 miles an hour. Like what? Super good.
Okay, it is a little bit too much work. All in all though, the performance is incredible. Like being able to cruise down the lake quietly and on top of the water was just not an experience I had before. It has raised my mileage. It has increased the top speed. It's increased cruising speed. It's just much more comfortable boat to drive. And really, is it feasible for somebody else to go through and be like, hey, I'm gonna rip off my pontoons, learn how to weld aluminum, you know, have all this aluminum bent up, add the strake? No, it's probably not worth it, honestly. Luckily, I have the means to do so. But it's just a really good example. If you're like on the fence between two boats, do I want to get one, you know, that's cheaper, just like a pontoon boat? Do I just want to cruise around? Or hey, there's a tri-toon, but it doesn't have lifting strakes. You know, is that going to perform like I want? Hopefully this video helped out with that. You're able to make a better choice when you're purchasing a pontoon boat, or a tri-toon with lifting strakes like this one has now. Well guys, if you subscribe, it helps me pay for weird things like lifting strakes and houseboat parts. And believe it or not, there actually is a houseboat episode coming up. I'm very sorry everybody, it's taking so long. We've been so busy, I haven't been able to touch it. Click here to see more houseboat stuff, and maybe click here and you'll get to see some weird boat projects.